All right, so how about Joey Porter Jr., the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers? And this feels like a great selection here. Now, I have a full film study on him that I'm going to get into in just a second, and you'll see that I wasn't quite as high on Joey Porter Jr. as some other people were. I did not have him as a first round. I did not have a first round grade on him. Neither did the NFL. Apparently, he goes pick 32, which in most drafts would be a first round pick, but here is means that he is the first selection of the second round. But for me, this is still, I think, a great pick. Even if I'm not as high on him as some other people are, this is right around where I have no issue making this selection. I think there's a lot of things that he does really well, and it's just a good value pick at this point. Again, I'm not so confident in my own evaluation abilities to sit here and say that just because this is right around where I picked him, that's going to be where I would have picked him, that's how good he's going to be, simply because some people loved him, and there's reason to love him. I mean, there's absolute reason to love him, and I get why some people fell in love with him. I saw some mock drafts having him as high as 14 to the New England Patriots, so getting him here feels like just a massive win, and something that the Steelers fans, I'm sure, will be thrilled about, and he could end up being a really good player. But yeah, definitely a very good pick in my opinion. Real quick, just before we get into the film study, just want to let you guys know what I'm doing tonight for round 2 and round 3 of the draft. I will be making plenty of videos, out consistently, not like round 1 where I had a video for every single draft selection. Not doing that here in round 2. Instead, I'm going to pick and choose which videos I want, which picks I want to make. But definitely had to make one for here because this is definitely a very interesting pick and a great one. I'm a big fan of, if you can get a player who some people thought of as, I didn't see many people having him as their number 1 corner necessarily, but there's people that, I think he was pretty consistently the number 3 corner on most people's boards. He was, I was saying, hey, I saw some mock drafts having him as high as 14. I didn't realize he was actually number 14 on the consensus big board. That's how much some people liked him. So, yeah, fantastic picks. I like the pick. Some people are going to love this pick, and I totally get why. But yeah, let's get into just, the player itself, the good and the bad. So these are his Pro Football Focus grades, and they're not great. I mean, they're not. That's not something that he has excelled at necessarily, although I will say PFF grades when it comes to the cornerback position, not something that you should value too highly. It isn't really a great indicator of success at the next level. Plenty of players have had poor PFF grades and gone on to succeed at the next level. And again, I'm talking about poor from an NFL prospect standpoint, because he's still in the, you look at the column on the right, the coverage grade, he still is in the top 25% of college corners when it comes to coverage grade, but just a little bit lower compared to some other players. Also, the run defense grade, very low according to PFF, 52 or 53.2, excuse me. Another thing worth noting, not a ton of snaps. Had over 700 in 2021, but just around 400 in both 2020 and 2022, so that's definitely worth noting as well. But again, stats can tell you some stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this guy's terrible, because there's plenty of stuff to like on his tape. Like, starting off with something like this, you see it's a one-on-one matchup, and that's who Porter Jr. is covering here. And look at how when this play begins, does a good job of, is not afraid to create contact, and that's legal contact. He did not create any, receiver runs into him, he's allowed to push back. That's totally legal, making sure he doesn't get a call there. Good stuff on that play. He's now at a point where right here, again, there's a little bit of a window to maybe try and make this throw, but I would say in these situations, he tends to be very good at not giving up too much space. Watch how, he just hangs with that receiver, and, again, eventually the ball comes in that direction and is even caught, but who cares? It was good defense. I'm evaluating the defense. It's a good throw and good catch too. Okay, fine. Sometimes that happens. This is a good play by Joey Porter Jr., in my opinion. I think something like this is when people that, there's some people that he's a bit of a volatile prospect. Some people love him, some people don't. But when people that love him, one of the things they do love about him is how smart he is. And he is. He's just a smart player. Like, this is a great example where it's zone coverage. You see where he's supposed to cover, that white zone sort of at the top of the screen, and you see the route concept on the screen. Can oftentimes pick on someone who is a corner like Joey Porter Jr., A receiver who is currently lined up against runs a deep route, then he can get his head turned around, which you don't want to do in zone, but sometimes it happens, and then the player goes underneath your zone. You gain some yards that way. Watch how when this play begins, Jens, you notice that for Porter Jr., doing a great job of still reading this play. Does not get his head turned around. Make sure he's still aware of this. Really good stuff. And watch him do everything right except for then drops the football, which somehow still got caught, which is just so unfortunate because that was a great play from Joey Porter Jr. To read that play and make it happen. Just dropped the football and it ended up being caught. Like it happens. It's kind of a fluky play. Unfortunate that it happened to him. But again, to me, I'm showing this as a positive. It was a great play by him to read that play and figure out how to, take advantage of it. Let's go over to this play. I gotta be honest, I have a critique of Joey Porter Jr. I'm not quite as high on him as other people are, and, again, I like to on these videos mostly talk about the positives, what are the good things that, the team just drafted him, can get out of him, and I certainly think that there's value in Joey Porter Jr. My one critique I have of him that concerns me a little bit, my one major critique I could say, because again, I brought up the, run stopping not being spectacular, but it's really, he likes to almost intentionally play from behind receivers, and this is a great example of what I'm talking about. I showed a couple more, but I'm only going to, I got a couple more that I was going to show, but I'm only going to show this one. But anyways, what's happening is it's a one-on-one matchup, and watch what happens. You see that the receiver's going to, get to the side, and Porter almost kind of lets him do that. Basically, every first step he loses, and sometimes it's by design. He's not afraid of getting beat deep. He ran a 4.46, which in college, you can kind of get away with, not necessarily fast or slow NFL speed-wise, kind of like okay NFL speed at 4.46. You can kind of get away with it, especially when you're 6'2". But, he's a physical player. He likes to get up on the line. He likes to create contact at the line, but it often does leave him kind of a step behind, and I'm worried that some of the faster receivers in the NFL could give him trouble. Now, there's a way around this. If you're an NFL team, just don't put him on the fast receivers. That's kind of the nice thing about defense is you get to choose the matchups. So you'll be the one who, as long as you don't put him on, Tyreek Hill, you'll be all right. That's just kind of the concern I have and why I don't know if he's a complete corner, but if used correctly, he can be a fantastic corner, which is how I feel about him. So while other people are higher on him than me, I totally get it, and I think there's plenty to get excited about with Joey Porter Jr. Those are my thoughts on him. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How high are you on Porter? Do you agree that my issues are fair? Am I being unfair? Let me know in the comments below. And again, plenty to like about him. Want to make sure that this is a positive video, not a negative one. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.